What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather forecast here by Asian Weather Forecast. This is going to be yet another severe weather event likely here coming in throughout the next coming days. Here, extremely big potential here. We have very favorable conditions for severe weather here, including the little amount of cap we'll be seeing at this time of severe weather. Also going to be seeing a lot of wind shear and a huge low jet bringing a lot of southerly winds. Also seeing very warm temperatures here and a lot of humidity coming in out here for portions of the atmosphere as well. Very high CAPE values as well. So we have a lot of favorable conditions here for the severe weather coming in for especially tomorrow, maybe even potentially a little bit today into portions of July 1st. So be sure to stay tuned for this multi-severe weather threat. So we're going to be monitoring the timing, who can see the worst, and even if this could very well become enhanced tomorrow. So be sure to watch the whole video. Before we get the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, also the post notification icon so you get notified when I post my awesome videos. Also, of course, be sure to subscribe so you love awesome support there, and also hit the like button as well to let me know that you like this video. But without further ado, let's get into the severe weather forecast. So here we are looking at the National Weather Service here, and as you see, we do have some heat advisories for portions of the north central plains or the Midwest here. So this is exactly where we're going to be seeing the severe weather, and as you see, we have heat advisories. Obviously, the warmer the temperatures, the more favorable for some pop-up strong superstorms there, or supercells. Possibly you're going to see some QLCSs as well. So very favorable conditions with temperature-wise. Also going to be seeing some nice amount of humidity as well. So very favorable conditions in that portion of the atmosphere and also surface as well. We also have some remaining flash flood watches, flood warnings, and flash flood warnings, flash flood watches. All of those rain alerts are for already still for portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin there from yesterday as well. So we do also have that threat for some flash flooding. We will very soon, by later today, going to be seeing some pop-up severe thunderstorm warnings and all of that. But tomorrow is my main day, really, for possibly severe weather, maybe even a potential for July 1st as well. So we're gonna be, before we actually now get into the today and also the threat for the future into the next coming days, we're gonna focus really quickly on yesterday. What we saw, actually, we saw 4 reported tornadoes yesterday. We had 2 in North Dakota and 2 in Minnesota. We had we had 2 tornado reports in Winona County there in Minnesota, 1 near 3 miles northwest of Wilson, and then also 1 southeast of Stockton. And then we also had, actually, no, we have 5 tornado reports now. So this is actually refreshed as soon as we were talking. We now have 5 tornado reports yesterday, so that's a new report. And now we have 3 in North Dakota, 1 in for portions of the Morton County, and also 2 in Cabrini-Bodinu County. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, we had a decent amount of tornadoes actually yesterday. 5 tornadoes. That's actually a decent amount of tornadoes. And then we also saw a lot of hail reports, 68 of 2-inch plus diameter. So that's actually a lot. Most of those were actually in the northern plains. We had a couple spotty ones in the northeast. And we had 160 wind reports of 65 plus knots. So also, that's what we had, that huge wind probability yesterday. Now let's go and check out now the SPC outlook for especially tomorrow here, as we're focusing on that big probability for severe weather likely. So here we are taking a look at the day 2 outlook, and as you see, we already have a very big slight risk here. I do expect this maybe possibly being an enhanced risk by possibly later today, if not tomorrow here. So I think this is still very well be an enhanced risk. I think the percentage for a moderate risk has possibly gone down a little bit there, but really I'm not really at the possibility for an enhanced risk, most likely for South Dakota and North Dakota here, and maybe an extension to the slight risk for a bit more to Minnesota and a bit more into Nebraska there. So that's what I think is going to be happening as we get closer into the next SPC outlook. But here we already have a slight risk here for the day 2 outlook, and a slight risk is still very, very favorable for severe weather. That's going to be including areas like possibly Fargo, Grand Forks, Bismarck, Pierre, areas near Michelle, much of I-40. I believe much of I-40 is actually under that slight risk, also including areas near Valentine, Nebraska, into just much of the Midwest there, that great northern plains. Let's go and check out now the tornado probability there, as it actually does load. It's at a 2% chance, so I don't think tomorrow is going to be more of a tornado. That's why I said most likely won't be a tornado outbreak. This is mostly going to be most likely a hail and wind threat, especially with that low jet bringing in the very strong winds. I think definitely tomorrow it's going to be a very big wind severe weather threat, which is why we can possibly maybe have some strong QLCSs. There was also those strong winds possibly bringing in a derecho. And here we have that 15% chance for hail tomorrow, maybe 15% chance hatch by tomorrow, and then we have a 15% chance for winds. I think this could very well be 30% chance, which is why we get the enhanced risk. So I'm predicting most likely, I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm saying either a 15% chance hatch risk or a 30% chance non-hatch risk for the wind probably tomorrow here. But hope you guys enjoy this part of it. Now let's go and check out the NAM3KM model, and after that we're going to be taking a look at the cap, the cape, the helicity, and all of that. So here's the NAM3KM model here for the Northern Plains. This is now into early tomorrow here. We're having those finishing storms from yesterday here for a portion of the Midwest. Could bring in some really most likely strong winds and hail. So not going to be seeing really any tornadoes likely for this area of the Northern Great Lakes. But here we're going to be seeing that big severe weather, those big storms brewing for a portion of the Northern Plains. Going to be seeing potential for some QLCSs. That's why we're going to be seeing most likely a wind threat here. Could be seeing definitely more than 80 miles an hour. As you see, we're gonna have a defined low pressure system at 996 millibars. I definitely don't think we're gonna be seeing more than 6 tornadoes tomorrow. That could change, but I think definitely hail and winds the primary threat. But look at these strong storms. Look at these very powerful storms into tomorrow here later in the afternoon. Extremely powerful storms. Very favorable, especially with the heat. And it's going to bring in some more storms brewing after. So people don't know. People tend to think that the bigger that it is on the model, on the future radar, is the bigger the probability for tornadoes. But with tornadoes, they have supercells. Supercells tend to be some smaller cells like this. I'm not saying there's gonna be tornado here, but this is where you possibly see tornadoes. That's what the storms look like. You don't see tornadoes in those big storms. Those bring in a lot of hail and winds. But you want to have those little hook geckos that are really part of smaller cells like that. So don't get caught up if it's a big storm. Doesn't mean you're going to be seeing tornadoes. Just means you're going to be seeing probably for some stronger winds and obviously heavier rain. And that those big storms and those smaller storms that could very well bring in those supercells will move into Nebraska into the overnight hours there. And look at this, extremely strong severe weather. This is exactly why I think this light risk could very well extend. And then by July 1st, we're going to be seeing a decent severe weather probability, or the decent severe weather threat as well, which is why I said possibly this could last to July 1st. So here we are taking a look at the Cape values here, and this is now getting into tomorrow, or actually later today here. A lot of energy coming in as we had a whole day of overday heating, especially after seeing extremely warm temperatures. That's including the heat advisory, so that's going to bring in a lot of humidity, a lot of overday heating, which is going to increase that number of Cape values, which is going to be energy likely predicting storms. Look at this. 5,155 joules per kilogram, basically surpassing 5,000 by a good bit, 5,200. Not only that, we're seeing a very good widespread number from almost all Oklahoma to North Dakota. We're seeing some very favorable conditions, but we're going to be following the threat for the Midwest. As we get now into tomorrow, look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. As you probably think, oh, don't forget the cap. The cap, high Cape values are really useless when it comes to high cap. When you have high cap, well, I'm gonna show cap in the next slide, and let me tell you that the cap is very low when it comes to the time frame severe weather. But after the time frame into July 1st, that's when it caps out. That's when we see beyond negative 300 all the way to negative 700. So those people keep on saying, oh, we're having a lot of cap. But let me show you. I'll show you. So this is actually now within the next 18 hours. Look at these numbers. Next 18 hours, seeing almost 6,000 joules per kilogram. Very good numbers. 5,900. Honestly, we have surpassed 6,000 just by a little bit there. But look at these numbers. And we're seeing extremely impressive numbers all the way in Nebraska, which is still not threat, but not the main probability. Look at this. 5,200, going to be surpassing some nice numbers. Look at a portion of Minnesota, 4,500, the Canadian border, 4,500, and then to the overnight hours, we're still having very good numbers. So these storms could very well really be strong in the overnight hours. That's when the storms kind of fall apart. The cap values die down because the sun is gone. The moon comes up. Fairly limited amount of energy as temperatures drop. But we're still going to be seeing some good numbers in the overnight hours. Look at this, 30,900. almost 4,000 in the overnight hours, which is kind of impressive. And then to now July 1st, that's when we see those really impressive numbers as well. But that's when things can possibly cap out by July 1st. Now let's go and check out the cap values here for those people who kept on mentioning the cap. So this is 18, this is actually 12 hours here. This is 12 hours from now. So this is when the storms start to brew, when the storms are brewing. Look at these look at this cap. Anything higher than negative 200 is considered very high cap. So if you want a storm to produce, you don't want anything higher than negative 200, or you don't want anything like the negative 180, negative 190. But when you get to really anything below negative 150 to really negative 30, that's a good frame, because we have the higher the cap, the stronger the warm area loft in the higher atmosphere, which also kind of does not influence that severe storm or the severe weather process, which means the wind shear will end up taking over and making the storm fall apart. But look at these numbers: negative 112, and the areas in North Dakota where we see up to possibly almost 6,000 joules per kilogram. Negative 42, negative 32, negative 72. But look, this is where we see some higher numbers. Negative 28. Like I said, we're not going to see like all of the numbers aren't going to be below negative 200. But the areas where we have that big severe weather event where the storms brew does have some lower numbers. Look at Nebraska, negative 144. Those areas aren't going to be seeing the best numbers. But look at South Dakota, negative 33, negative 32, negative 55, not 1 in 55. And this is the next 18 hours, which is where we had our highest amounts of CAPE, and that's in the late afternoon, which is when the storms become the strongest in the early evening as well. Look at these numbers. So look at these numbers: negative 75, negative 50, negative 66, negative 38, negative 44. This is the whole area of potential severe weather. Actually, no, this is kind of the whole area for severe weather right here, right there. Even a little bit of this as well, but this area is not even a slight risk yet. I think it should, but that's where you see those higher numbers for the people saying we're seeing beyond negative 200 by a mile. Look at this. This is now in the overnight hours of June 30th. That's when things cap out. This is not when the storms produce. This is after they fall apart. Look at these numbers: negative 304, 3047, 397, 416. This, you guys are focusing on the wrong time frame. You guys see the numbers, but you're not looking at the time. This is now beyond 24 hours. So this is later on. Or actually, no, this is way beyond 24 hours here. Actually, beyond 24 hours. So you guys are looking at the wrong time. The wrong time here. Actually, wrong time. So you guys are looking at the wrong time, and then once it's almost July 1st, it kind of caps out. Yeah, that's when it caps out. But when the storms actually are producing, this is when the storms start to brew up, seeing just below negative 200, obviously getting into negative 27. These are when the storms are really strong, and this is kind of when they fall apart because of the cap. So letting you guys know, either you're looking at the wrong location of the cap or the wrong time. Obviously, it's going to cap out at some point. May cap out in the evening, but we're still seeing very low cap numbers when the storms are going to be at its worst. Here, taking a look at now the helicity here, the storm relative helicity. We're seeing some very good numbers now. The higher the helicity, the better. Means the more spin in the atmosphere here, likely, of course, bringing in those potential spin-ups or tornadoes. Look at this. Possibly 653 meters per second squared. That's actually some very good numbers there. Very, very good numbers. 673 meters per second squared. Possibly 558, 643. Look at these numbers. Perfect scenario. 698 meters per second squared. 652. This is a perfect area. This is actually showing those storms will most likely go in this kind of pattern there, and then they kind of that numbers kind of do go down a little bit as we get to July 1st, and then those numbers are higher in the south central, because that's when the storms could very well pop up in July 1st. Now let's go and check out now at the bulk shear and the higher atmosphere here. As we're seeing a very strong low jet bringing in some strong low pressure systems as well, bringing a lot of winds here, possibly 50 to possibly 80 knots in the atmosphere. As you see, look at 80 knots, 81, and it's going to go right in the exact area where the severe weather is. For people who don't know, severe weather, when it comes to severe weather, wind shear is very favorable. When you have a lot more, the more the wind shear, the more the merrier. Unlike tropics, it's kind of the opposite. But look at this, possibly 40 knots here, 60 knots, 70 knots are likely here. Very good scenario, and then it kind of falls apart when it caps out. See, same pattern. Once it caps out, that's when the wind shear really falls apart, which is going to really minimize that severe weather threat a lot. Hope you guys did enjoy this video though. So hope you guys obviously did learn a lot more here for severe weather for those new weather nerds like me. And also be sure to hit the subscribe button and all of that. So yeah, here I am closing the video out. So of course, still hit that post notification icon so you get notified when I have these videos so you're weather aware. Smash that like button and also hit the subscribe button to show your awesome support. Hope you guys did enjoy this video and see you guys later.